How you doing today, guys? Jesse here with J-Tech. Today we're going to do an annual inspection on this International TrainStar 8600. But first things first, you always want to make sure that you protect your eyes. So if you want to come with me real quick. First thing you want to do when you're doing anything is you want to check the tires, because if you don't have any tires or good tread depth, or your lug nuts are tight, you can find any problems, air leaks that you can hear out of your valve stems, anything like that. It can put the truck out of service. Now they say that if the truck is below 10% of its PSI on the tires, it puts it out of service. We already know that these are all good. We've already checked them. So first thing you want to do is you want to go down here. You want to check these lugs. Now behind the lugs, they have these washers. If the washers are moving, they have to be retorqued. Like this one here, it needs to be retorqued. And you can tell that it's been loose because you can see the rust that's coming in from behind it. There's another one down here that's loose. Here it is right here. And you can also see the rust around this one. Another thing you want to check while you're up here, up in the front, is your steering right here. You can make sure that it's tight, that it's adjusted properly. You can check your brakes while you're back here, because you always want to make sure that your brakes are working properly. The truck is at proper air pressure for the brake system. So as you're walking around, you can check your air lines, your air hoses, anything that could cause an air leak and cause your brakes to fail. So up underneath here, we have our 20 brake chamber right here. It's connected up underneath here, and you want to just make sure that you don't hear any audible air leaks, and you can feel around, listen. These hoses appear to be pretty good. You want to come down this way. We have our fuel cap. A big thing people do not realize, that if the fuel cap does not seal properly or screw on properly, that is a safety concern. We can tell that the seal is good inside of there. Back here we have our glide hands. We want to make sure that our glide hands are proper. As you can see on this one here, there is a broken seal. This would have to be addressed, because that can cause an air leak to your trailer. This one also has a broken seal. You'd have to address that, because that can also cause a leak. You have your pigtail here. You want to make sure that it is intact, that you don't see any breaks or frays, anything that is loose with the inside of it. And make sure that it's all good to go. Also, you have one here. Since your batteries are here, we can take all this battery box, set it over here. And you can come over here and you can check all your battery connections. If your battery connections are loose, you could have a faulty battery, or it won't start. You could have any number of problems that could be caused from electrical. As you can see, that we don't see any corrosion. We see all tight battery cables, so we know that that's pretty good. So we'll come to this rear tire. So as you see here, I have my tread depth gauge tool. It's in 30 seconds. And how you want to use this tool is you want to push it all the way down, and you want to pull it all the way up, put it in, and push it down until it stops. As you can see, we can come here and we can see exactly which one it is, which this one says it's 730 seconds, and on your gauge, it can tell you what the minimum requirements is, so you know this tire is good. Since we're down here, we can actually check this seal. There's actually a gasket behind the hub right here where your oil is. And since we're also here, we have the lug nuts we can check. Make sure that they're all there, that you're also not hearing any leaks. You want to check the tires for any damage, cracks, breaks, cuts, slices, anything possible that could be wrong with it that can put the truck out of service. Now, as you can see, this is missing your mud flaps, and that is required. So that would definitely have to be something that goes into your paperwork that you were doing. Down here, you can see that you have your brake lights. You can see that there is exposed wire here, and that does put it out of service, because you do not have a brake light there. So you'd have to replace that. Although these two do look good, your reverse light and your brake light does look good, so you're good there. You want to make sure that your pintle hook is working properly, and it does. It's locking in place. Since we're back here, you have your airbags. You can listen for audible leaks. The whole system is fully aired up to proper air pressure, and you can check your air lines that are running to everything. Your adjustment, now you can see that the air adjustment tool right here, it is loose. This bolt is loose, so you'd have to adjust that or tighten it. You want to come over here real fast. This has caliper brakes, disc brakes. So it does not have the whole slack adjuster system. So your brake chamber actually goes straight into your brake system. So you want to make sure that your brakes are properly adjusted on your calipers, so that you don't have any misalignment of brakes. We're also here so we can also check these air lines and make sure we don't hear any audible leaks, any brakes, cracks, any problems whatsoever. Let's go on this side. We'll do the same thing: tread depth, lugs, and your bag. We're still looking for any problems other that would be there. Anything you could find on your frame, anything you could see that any welds that shouldn't be there. There could be a number of things that can put out this truck, and you just want to make sure that all your safety requirements are there and that the truck is in proper working condition. Since we're here, we can also check these. And you can see that there is no leaks. If there was a leak, you'd see oil in the bottom of the rim. If there's oil, if this is leaking oil, that could cause you to grind your gears. It could cause this to come out, which is what turns your wheel. And you can have a number of more problems. As you can see, this side is also missing another mud flap, which needs to be addressed. Over here, you can see that you have your air brake relay right here. This relay controls your service brakes on here. We can check all the lines on this, making sure that everything is in proper working condition. The wiring to it is working. As you can see here, you have all your air lines that run from your rear brakes to the front of the truck, which are all right here. You want to make sure that you're checking all these lines while you're doing it, because if you have an air leak, it can cause you to have a brake failure. You have your air bellow for your cab right there. It sounds pretty good. There's no air leaks coming from it. As you're coming around, you also want to check that your mirrors are in place and stabilized, and that the stabilizer on up top is connected. This one is not, so that would have to be addressed or just placed back in point. Since we're right here, we do have the exhaust. If you want to come over here, the exhaust has multiple places where it can leak. All the connections, anything. You really want to look for any carbonization of it. Now, as you can see, we don't see any black sooty nastiness around the edge of these connections or anywhere on the exhaust itself. It may look a little burnt and stuff, but it gets hot on a normal basis, which means it's a good sign. There is no exhaust leaks. This is an exhaust leak can cause a problem within your system. And we can see that it is properly mounted and it's not loose or moving. If you want to keep going around, we can check the tire depth with my depth gauge if we need to. Check the lugs again. Check your hubs for your oil, proper oil inside. The hub is not deformed, beaten, or anything like that that can cause a problem. As you're going around, you want to check to make sure that you have all your valve stem covers. It helps with any type of air leaks. If you have a bad valve stem and you have that cover on, it could help with the valve. It could help you get off the road until you can replace it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up inside the truck and we'll make sure that everything on the inside of the truck is working. How you doing, guys? Back. So now we're on the inside of the truck. We're kind of doing just an inside inspection of the truck. We're also going to make sure that the lights are working, different things. I have my third man in the back. He's back there looking for the lights. So we're going to get in real quick. We're going to crank it up and we're going to make sure everything's working. So I'm going to close this door. Maybe you can hear me a little bit better. Make sure it's in neutral, pushing your clutch in. Now I just turned it to the on position. I can see that all my dummy lights are turning on, working properly. You can hear the trucks going through its own system. That was the air buzzer. It is now went off because it is at proper air pressure. So now I'm gonna crank the truck up. We know that where the truck is running good, you don't hear any funny noises, you don't see any other dummy lights going off. You see that all the meters and every gauge is working properly. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to hit the brake and I'm going to get my third guy to tell me if the one brake light back there is working. He says it is working, that's good. I'm not going to put it in reverse today, but we do know the buzzer does work on this. While you're in here, you want to make sure that you notate any problems that are inside the truck. Any problems that could be there before you got in it. Anything broken, anything that could cause a problem, like something missing here. Because you want to notate that, because the more you write down, the more you save your shop time, money, anything that could happen, a lawsuit, tons of things can save your time. In a nutshell, guys, that is a annual inspection with missing little things, but it covered a lot of things. I hope you have a good day. Come back and see me. I'm Jesse with J-Tech.